Hi guys, my name is Polina Leens and I'm a fitness and lifestyle coach. In this video, I would like to talk about sleep and what are the things that you can do in order to help yourself to get improvement in your sleep routine and feel your best self. Once I started to learn in depth about all the things that are happening while we're sleeping, I realized that sleep should be the number one priority for us if we want to stay sane and healthy. I hate to use this example, but I guess it's the best one in order to really imagine what's happening. So you know that every once in a while your phone gets a new software update, and then it tells you you need to put it in a charger and leave it for a couple of hours in order to update and restore. And this is what our body does actually every single night in order for us to function properly. We update our software, which means all our systems gets restored, all the unnecessary information gets cleared out, all the organs go through cell restoration and also creating new cells. So most of this process happens while we're sleeping, when this deep trance mode, when we don't move, we don't do much, we don't spend energy. So our body has this time to do this maintenance work in order to keep this beautiful human body alive. And you've probably experienced in your own example that once you get sick, there is a tendency to sleep a lot more, because again, when we get some virus or some infection or disease or whatever, we actually need more time again in this like paralyzed deep trance state in order to combat the disease. So this is the main reason why sleep is the best medicine that you could ever get. What is kind of fascinating to me is the fact that this information is already out there. This is not a secret. You kind of can Google and see all the beautiful things that your body does while you're asleep. So why is it we're experiencing such a high rate of insomnia, of troubles falling asleep in general, in disrupted sleeping patterns, and as a result, lots of health and mental issues? So when we talk about sleep, it's very important to mention the knowledge about circadian rhythm, which is a strong connection between the systems in our body, our organs, and the cycle of day and night. According to this knowledge, every single organ and system has its time to repair and to function properly. So one of the main takeaways from this knowledge for me was the understanding that your nervous system restores from 10 to 11 p.m. And that is the reason why it's very important for you to go to sleep at least at 10:30. I have to confess that it's almost impossible when you live in a city to stick to a rigid sleep routine and every single day go to sleep and wake up at the same time, especially if you have kids, especially if you're traveling, especially if you're alive. But I think understanding that from 10 to 11 is the time for your nervous system to restore and renew and upgrade and upload the new software, it helps to kind of choose the right decision when you are sitting in the sofa and you feel like, okay, maybe I should watch something or maybe I should go to sleep. Since I learned that my nervous system has this very short time frame from 10 to 11 to restore, I mostly tend to prioritize my sleep and tell that all the Netflixes in the world and all the screens can wait until tomorrow, because my nervous system is something that keeps me sane and makes my experience of life bearable and even maybe sometimes enjoyable. In reality, the sleep is a very easy thing to approach when you understand what are the main disruptors. And the first one is the light exposure. As I already mentioned, our body is connected to the circadian rhythm, the cycles of day and night. This is not a coincidence that after it gets dark, our body secretes melatonin and we are going to sleep, because from the evolutionary perspective, being awake while you cannot see anything, it's just a waste of time. So people tend to have this melatonin secretion and go to sleep during dark hours. But with the development of our societies, we discovered electricity, and now there is the unhealthy tendency to overuse lightning in order to keep us alert constantly. And when you realize that this is one of the main things and the easiest thing that you can tweak in order to help yourself to sleep better, you might find yourself in bed by 10, 11 p.m. easily, because it's just how it goes. It's kind of funny now because we have this game with my husband that we don't turn on the lights even if it's super super dark. We also want to train our vision, and we brush our teeth, for example, in darkness, or yeah, just after 6 p.m. we don't overuse lighting when it's not necessary, and we have a sort of game to see and kind of challenge ourselves to use our eyes in order to see things even in darkness. The second thing is the usage of screens, especially after dark. Again, the screen is a representation of artificial light, and it's highly stimulating for our brain and for our eyes. And this is the main reason why many people can just watch TV until 2, 3, whatever a.m. and feel like they cannot fall asleep. I really question, I very doubt that there are people who don't use lights and don't use any screens and still have a hard time falling asleep. Our nervous system these days is highly stimulated by all sorts of entertainments and screens, and I feel like if you don't educate yourself on this topic and you don't realize that this causes you harm, and there is also time and occasion for watching something, but if you it becomes just a baseline activity for your being, then you kind of steal from yourself, and you pay attention to other people, to their content, to their projects, but you don't really pay attention to you and your body needs, what your body needs. So again, I don't think it should be a religion of like never ever watching something after it gets dark. But again, I feel like in this day and age where we have so many options and most of them are uh, not that influential for your life, I think there should be always this kind of value check. If you want to feel good in your body and enjoy a life, or you want to enjoy Netflix and all sorts of entertainments that are created in order for you to stay like a zombie watching something without even getting any real value from it. So in the so there are, of course, there are occasions where you can stay up late. There are situations that can make you stay up late, but the more you prioritize your sleep, the more you feel better, the easier it becomes to go to sleep at the right time for you, and really the better you will feel. And then the next time you will have this decision between, should I go out and stay late or should I go to sleep? Most probably your body will pull you towards going home and sleeping and waking up nice and fresh. But again, I completely subscribe to the idea that there should be a healthy balance, and by mostly following your sleep routine, it's okay that sometimes you stay up late or do something super fun for you after dark. And here I will add just some story time, because I'm not sure if everyone is interested. But when I talk about sleep, I always remember this moment in my life where um, my husband had a project of helping remote villages in Indonesia to install the solar panels in order to have electricity. And he brought me to this trip with him. It was in the Timor Islands in the very southeast, closer to Australia. And we went to this village. There were a couple of houses, people were, as I like to call it, of the previous software. Like you really see their eyes, the way how they behave. It's really, there's a big difference between us and them. And when we started to talk to those people, they started to share their experience, and they were a little bit concerned about the fact that actually those solar panels don't produce enough of electricity for them. And I remember that someone from the team got very surprised because those solar panels have capacity of providing energy for like 8 hours. And they're like, but what you're doing with, like, what like, tell me what's the, how do you use it? And then say, yeah, like at 6 when it gets dark, we keep them all night, and then at like 4 it's just like electricity is gone and it just turns down. And they were, they wanted to keep like lights all night long. Like for us, I guess, I hope that for you it's kind of obvious that once you go to sleep there is no need to keep your lights on. Since light was a still kind of new thing for them, like light in the dark, they wanted to keep it as long as they could. And for them it was a sign of like a prosperity that they can keep light and it's just constantly bright, even though it's dark hours already. And I remember we like looked at each other with my husband and realized the nature of the humans. We live in a time where all of those luxuries became a commodities that we don't even notice them. But for people who just recently got to enjoy those advances of the modern life, they actually also have a tendency to overindulge on them. So it's something, it's this story is just something to think about, that there is the culture of consumption is something that we have to develop, because it was clear we've been overindulging and wasting very precious things as electricity, as water, as well many other things. As long as we need electricity in order for us to have a comfort, have a life full of comfort, we still have to draw a line between where is this comfort actually helping us to live better, and where those commodities actually start to affect us and our body in a negative way, and we lose tune with our core nature as humans. All right, guys, I hope this video gave you a little bit of food for thoughts, and I see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Subscribe to my channel and see you in the next videos. Feel my